clouds between. Oh, I've got a song stuck in my head. I'll let you know when I get everything sorted. Blah blah. It's really warm in here. It's like 10, 11 degrees outside, but it's like really warm in here because I was wearing some layers, and also I woke up and was like very, very, very horny. So I jumped onto, I think it's called Hot Ash Men now. It used to be Hot Cigar Men kind of thing. And it's basically, I use that because I can't use Chatterbait. That's the only reason I use it. It's basically just it's a bare Chatterbait for guys that like pipe and cigar guys. However, I've found that essentially it's not all about the pipe and cigar stuff. It's weird. The people who are really into like the smoking fetish kind of stuff, they're either really into it or it's just kind of like, oh, I do this. It's kind of like me. Like I do this too. And people like me for it, you know. People really like me for it. So yeah, I never really went into the chat room, but then since Chatterbait seems to want all of my personal information, all of my personal information, I basically use their chat room instead because there's very little, there's moderation, but there's very little moderation, you know. Right, get rid of. I'm still doing things. I can't talk and do things. I can't multitask. Although people that say they can multitask, it's apparently impossible for humans to multitask. However, there is a thing that happens where there is a lot that your brain can do automatically. You can train your brain to do shit automatically, so you can basically do the multitasking thing, but it's not really multitasking. It's more that your brain just does shit automatically. So yeah, I read up on this, and basically, if you guys watch a stream called Destiny, then like he explains it several times in his streams, in his videos, where basically he's not multitasking because he'll be debating or he'll be talking and also be playing a game in the background, and it's not really multitasking. He just kind of he just trained his brain into basically playing a game whilst he does something else because he's a big brain. It's a thing. Anyway, can you guys hear me okay? Let me just see. I'm not, by the way, I'm not doing anything with my other hand. It's on my knee. It's on my knee. Okay. It requires a lot more stretching and to get around the belly to actually get to the other thing. So YouTube, calm down. YouTube, please calm down. So yeah. Anyway, I was just there and I was just like, I might have made my office a lot hotter by doing that, basically. But yeah, I now have a buddy on there that wants me to send pictures of my poop to, which is fun because I already have a friend that I do that for. But yeah, this arm really hurts. This armpit really hurts. I haven't showered in like 4 days. So I've got stingy armpit. It's because the boiler's a bit temperamental, plus I wanted to go in the hot tub, and I haven't been in the hot tub. So here's a quick summary of what's been happening this week. My sleep has been, it's now whacked fully 108 degrees. So essentially I woke up not so long ago, and I went to bed at at like 10, 11 o'clock last night. So essentially, my sleep is upside down. It should be normal time. I'm going to bed at normal people times, normal adult times, you know, like 9, 10, 11, even midnight. And basically, I'm waking up like 4 hours later at the best. So it's kind of annoying because I'm awake and I can do stuff, but this is the hour in which, these hours, those 4 or 5 hours, those 6 hours ish, that I'm usually doing live streams, I'm going to be asleep, or at least going to bed to try to get to sleep. So that's why I haven't been streaming, and that's why this stream is kind of late, because I got up, I ate my breakfast, and came on here, had a cheeky wank, and then basically I'm here now. Whereas usually I basically have the entire day, and then before I go to bed, like 6 hours before I go to bed, I do a live stream usually. So yeah, but like I said, that window in which I live stream, it's kind of closing in on the times where I'm supposed to be going to bed already. So yeah, fun. Isn't life fun? I have no idea if it's my body internally sabotaging, but this week I basically was gonna go and do exercising again. I was actually going to go out and walk some more. And I was actually going, because it's nice and cool now, so I can walk. I can go out and walk and shit. I can go out and walk some more. I can actually lift my weights now, because my home gym is basically, it's fairly clear, so I can actually work out now, and all this stuff. But not only was yesterday Sunday, but at the beginning of the week, my legs started to hurt. I've got basically a random owie on my hip. That's just on my lower hip, almost on my butt, but not really. Just on my bad leg. And it's just deciding just now that when I wake up, it decides to be really stiff. And then as I go throughout my morning, it hurts. So that's fun. So that puts walking out, and also puts working out, because I do a lot of standing up, of course, and moving around and shit when I do the working out part. And I can't do that because my leg hurts. I also was supposed to be trying to get back into drawing. That's what I planned to do this week. No. I basically, again, my eyes were funny, and I couldn't concentrate on actually drawing anything. I know this is excuses, but to me, these are valid excuses. So I'm sorry. People who are waiting for their commissions are very patient, so I'm okay with that. So that's fine. Nobody's like desperate for my artwork just yet. So I kept thinking I was going to sneeze, and then it turned out to be that instead, which is fun. Yeah. So I haven't done any artwork because of that. Plus, I got the super sads just out of nowhere. I got like super sads. Super depression hit me hard. And it hit me hard one day. And I've gotten messages before about basically, there's been one or two kind of like, you shouldn't be talking about depression so much. It's a real bummer. It really bums you out that I talk about depression so much. And I say to those people, it's like, I can't help it, okay? And it's not like I'm intentionally bumming people out. I never say anything that is like super depressive thoughts. I never actually tell you guys my thoughts when I have mega depression episodes and everything. I give you vague ideas so you guys don't worry about it too much. But yeah, it's like I got some of that, plus also just some random people on like Growler and stuff randomly messaging me. So, after I message back, they're trying to get to know me. We have a good conversation, and then I say that I have depression. And in their profiles, it does say I really hate, depressives, or like depression sufferers or something like that, because they're sometimes a downer to talk to. They'll have something in their profile that is like this, and then when I bring it up, they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then they won't talk to me. They'll either ghost me, or they will basically just tell me outright. It's like, "Sorry, I'm really not into downers." It's like, is that what we're called? Is that people who suffer depression? Are we downers? Hey, I don't bring it up. I don't bring it up unless somebody asks me. I might bring it up in conversation like, "Oh, I've had depression," but that's it. You know, if it comes up in conversation, I will basically say that it's like, "Oh, I've had depression." You know, I can understand depression because I've had it, kind of thing. You know, but I don't actually just straight out talk to people about it and stuff, because I know that it's kind of like it's a conversation ender a lot of the time. You know, it's one of those social things. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, I've had a couple of conversations just recently about that being a problem, and you know, I don't really have people having opinions on shit. I don't really mind people having opinions on shit. I don't. It's just that, okay, I want to talk to you about this certain thing. You know, it's kind of like, it's kind of like something that this guy actually, the main person who's the one that basically I've got an issue with this whole topic. Something that this guy won't shut up about is weed. And you guys know me. I don't care if you do it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to talk about it. Once I give you my thoughts on it, I don't want to hear about it anymore. You know, because it's a boner killer for me. You know, it's a bummer for me. It's just it hurts. It hurts my opinion, my overall opinion of a person if they won't shut up about weed. You know, and I kind of like feel like other people have topics like this that if they hear about it too much, then it's a boner killer for them, kind of like depression. If depression is your trigger or whatever, then it's fine. I won't talk to you about it. You know, if you like sport, if you like if you're really into football, then it's kind of like that's a bit of a boner killer for me. If somebody wants to shut up about football, or cars or something, then I get it. Like, I get it. You're into that. I'm not that into that. I don't care. You know. So you don't talk to me about that. You can talk to me about literally anything else. There are loads of topics to pick from, but you won't shut up about the one thing that is like super, super boner killer for me. I get it. I do understand. And if I'm that person for you, and you fuck off, you know, in your head, or it's a boner killer for you in conversation, then I get it. I won't understand if you don't want to talk to me anymore. I totally get it. But then to basically belittle me for it, it's kind of a bit pointless, you know, because it's something that I can't change. You know, there is no cure for depression. So yeah, so that's fun. So that's kind of what I've been dealing with this week, just not being able to do anything. So yeah, entertainment wise, I have been watching TV. You know, I was basically watching just my regular, my regular stream of just stuff. And then when I had depression, I kind of wanted to watch a TV show that I remember basically that I actually might have had depression from a very early age. Again, I'm going to be talking about this for a long time. I'm sorry. I think I had depression from like a really early age, because I remember being like 8 or 9, maybe even in my tweens, you know, and basically feeling super bummed about stuff. And there are a couple of TV shows that would take my mind completely off of it. And one of them was Brotherly Love. And for me, I don't know what it is. I think it might just be the whole passage of time thing. When you're younger, everything seems to be super quick, seems to be over super quick. But when you're an adult, you kind of look back on it and you basically think to yourself that, oh, that actually was a long period of time. So this time warpiness in my memory might have affected this. But Brotherly Love, I seem to remember that show going on for like 7 seasons and stuff. But in reality, it's like 1 or 2 seasons long. And it's weird because, like I said, I remember watching this for years. Not just for 2 years, but for years and years. And I really wanted to watch it, but I can't find it anywhere. And it's a real shame. Like, apparently it's on Hulu or something, but I cannot be asked to get another subscription service, even a free trial one, It's just kind of like, eh. But yeah. So yeah, I wanted to watch a TV show that basically made me happy. I can't watch. Normally, I go through this like once every 3 years or so, where basically I'll rewatch a really big TV show, a really long TV show that basically made me happy. Or at least it took my mind off of the depressive thoughts for a long time, and I couldn't find one because all of the ones I watched fairly recently, like Scrubs. Oh, excuse me. Random tiny toot. Like Scrubs. And like Buffy, to an extent Star Trek sometimes. I've kind of overwatched Star Trek because I used to watch Star Trek for work and stuff. So essentially it's kind of like worn out. I don't mind watching it with somebody, but if I'm watching it by myself, it's kind of a bit meh. Plus, there's so much of it now, and I'm watching New Track. I'm watching Lower Decks. I really like Lower Decks. I cannot stand any of the other shows except for Strange New Worlds. This is the thing. I heard somebody else talking about Strange New Worlds. This is the new Star Trek show. There's a spin-off, kind of Discovery, which is bullshit. So yeah, I mean, I heard somebody else talking about this, and I've already said this, but Star Trek Strange New Worlds is basically Star Trek again. There's very, 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 very tiny bits where it's very much kind of like a SJW bullshit show. There's like 1 or 2 things, but overall, it was actually Star Trek again. It's like, and that's because the writers or the people in charge, the producers, whatever, of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, basically they were like, we want to make a new show. Why don't we just make Star Trek again? This is part of public record, by the way. There was like an interview for one of the showrunners or something for Strange New Worlds, and they were like, yeah, we wanted to make Star Trek again instead of making what we've been making, because Discovery definitely isn't Star Trek. Picard definitely isn't Star Trek. It's painful. It's actually painful to watch. I really feel bad for the people that are super fans, the proper real Trekkies, because I'm not really a real Trekkie. I like how I'm an engineer. I like how the ships work. I like how I like warp theory. I like the scientific technology and how it could work and how it should work and how things are, how things progress. I even like the geopolitics aspect of it. Some of the stories, the bigger stories of like how stuff happens in our galaxy is interesting. But personal bullshit, little tiny stories about people, about individuals in that show is what the show's. It's what Star Trek, the original, the original tracks, you know, the Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, Voyager, and Enterprise, is kind of what they're all about. You know, I like the overall arcing stories, and that's kind of why I watch them. And also interesting, cool science shit that happens. So I'm not really a real Trekkie because I hate that. I hate the individual episodes, but I love episodes that deal with technology and, you know, the ship going awry and things like that. It's kind of why I like Stargate better. I like Stargate way better. I am a full Stargate fan. I don't know what they're called. Gators? That sounds a bit like furry. I don't know. Yeah. Stargate in itself is kind of like, it has everything. It has everything. It has the personal drama stories. There's very few of those that I don't like, but the overall story really does kind of like affect each individual episode, and they care. You know, they seem to give a shit about the overall story, interacting with individual people in those episodes of Stargate Atlantis and Stargate, and to a lesser extent, Universe. Stargate Universe was a bit weird. I didn't mind Stargate Universe. I hated how it's like all or nothing all the time. I guess I don't know. It just seemed to be a Voyager ripoff, and it was kind of a bit painful. Um, you know, I think it was because the writing was very obvious, whereas the writing for Stargate, the original Stargate show, was pretty good. You know, the individuals, except for the first couple of seasons, they are very much kind of trying to do um, a Star Trek format with their episodes, so they're kind of a bit meh, and they didn't have as much budget as Star Trek, I guess. I don't know, but oh my god, once we basically get into space, once spaceships start to be more of the thing in Stargate, that it really gets good. It really gets good. It gets really good, and it's very scientifically accurate. Weirdly enough, it's scientifically accurate. You know, they invented an entirely new element, naquadah, and naquadria. They basically make this new element, and the way that they made this new element, it's like this thing could be real. If we had this thing, that's it. That's the only thing that they invented for the show is naquadah. Everything else scientifically works in Stargate. It's crazy. I mean, in Star Trek, they they invent lots of shit all the time, and I get it. I get it. You know, you basically have to have a thing. They didn't have. Uh, you have to invent new stuff so that basically it's just a thing to 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 basically describe how stuff works in the universe. You have to invent a bunch of shit because like in a thing like Star Trek, it's a bit I don't know. They're just a bit wishy-washy with their science in Star Trek. I mean, stuff works, you know. If tachyon fields and Verteron rays and all of this stuff actually exists, then yeah, this stuff would work. But there's a lot of what if. There's a lot of what if in Star Trek. In Stargate, they basically invent one thing that actually is scientifically possible, and everything is explained. Everything is explained. It's so good. Stargate is so good. Anyway, Jesus, I'm sorry, I went on a huge rant about Star Trek, Stargate, all of those. Anyway, Yeah, I was looking for a TV show that I hadn't seen in a long time that could help with my super sad depression bullshit. And yeah, I couldn't find anything. And then while I was looking for one of these TV shows, Smallville showed up. And I haven't seen Smallville for a long time. So I'm watching Smallville. And yes, it's terrible. It's terrible. Oh my god, is it so bad? And yes, it's not scientifically accurate at all. But they try. You can tell they try. I think it's because it's from the same, isn't it? It's filmed like at Bridge Studios or something. It's filmed at the same location in the same country as Stargate, was, and and there's lots of actors crossover as well. So yeah, I'm watching Smallville now. I'm in the third season or something. I can't wait until it kicks it up a notch, because I remember that the first couple of seasons of that and I've seen, are very, very much kind of like almost a Buffy ripoff, like Monster of the Week kind of thing. Um, yeah, all the dialogue is like super. It's super elaborate, meaning that it's not real. People don't talk this way. Um, I'm okay with that. It's very, very fake, but Chloe Sullivan is just is the worst at this, because almost every sentence is punctuated with another sentence that is a reference to something. And it's like, and she never reuses references. So it's like somebody's really trying hard to make to give her that kind of reporter thing. And I get it, and that's cool. But yeah, if you're watching Smallville for the realism, though, you're never going to get it, because you have a teenager who emancipates herself, owns a coffee shop slash theater with a billionaire, and this is all fine. And she's getting good grades in school. The coffee shop is doing great, and also she's got all this time to horse ride and win awards and trophies, and she's like the social elite in school. And it's like, how is this woman doing this? And woman, not even teenager, totally clearly woman. How is she doing this? It's worse when Lois Lane joins the show, because they want you to expect that she is a high schooler. Like she's a super late high schooler. And the woman that they get to play Lois Lane, I love her. She's a great actress, but Jesus, like, this woman she's nearly 40. No one's going to address this, really. And I get it. The show started in the early noughties. I get it. Okay, early noughties. Was it 2000? I think it was 2008. I don't know. I have to check the thing. Hey, Roscoe, I have to check the thing. But yeah, Smallville is weird. It's just it's these TV shows. They never have teenagers. It's kind of like but I'm trying to think of a good modern example, but all I can think of is sitcoms. It's kind of like Big Bang Theory. All of these guys are meant to be in like their 20s to early 30s, right? All the guys in the Big Bang Theory are supposed to be in the 20s to early 30s. Yeah, some of them are approaching 50. Some of them are approaching 50. And I know this because the main actor that that is in the Big Bang Theory, like, I've seen him in something else, and I thought he was really cute, and I looked him up, and he was like 38 in whatever that was that I saw him in. I have no idea what it is. have no idea. It's completely gone from my mind. But he basically had a beard in it and everything, and he was kind of cute. Like I said, he was kind of cute. Like I know it's a thing. But yeah, I looked him up, and he was like 39 or 30, 38 or 39 or something. And I was like, okay, because this guy is in The Big Bang Theory playing like a 29-year-old, maybe possibly earlier than that, 25-year-old or something. It's crazy. It's crazy. But then again, people don't age properly in Hollywood, do they? I mean, look at fucking Jared Leto. Jared Leto, the Joker, Morbius, that guy. Like, isn't he in his 50s? Isn't he like in his 50s or 60s? He's got the youthful spot. Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. TV shows from back then were like that. So I'm rewatching Smallville, and I'm looking forward to when it grows up, because oh my god, it's kind of hurting me trying not to skip over the bullshit first and second season. But you need to know story shit from the first and second season to figure out stuff in the fourth season onwards, Although they do big jumps sometimes, and it does bug me a bit, but whatever. So yeah, Smallville. I'm rewatching Smallville. It's helping a bit with the super depression, and it's better. It's a little bit better than watching Scrubs for like the 50th time or something. Because of my hypersensitivity, I basically used to. I need something on in the background all the time. I need something on in the background all the time. So basically, I used to just put DVDs. I had a very good DVD collection. When I lived with my parents, when I moved out, when I lived back with my parents, when I was moving out again, I basically I took my big DVD collection with me everywhere, and I would rewatch a bunch of stuff over and over again. So I could basically tell you what happened in like all of Star Trek. So yeah, never heard of Scrubs. It's so good. It's the first series that I ever owned on DVD. It's the first seat that came to college with me. I basically would put it in my laptop, and I'd watch it. I'd have it on in the background while I was doing stuff in class in college. Yeah, well, I do that. I do that now, but in the past, when YouTube didn't exist, when Wi-Fi didn't exist, I basically would have my DVD player on my TV would be on all the time whenever I was home, and it would just be on in the background so that I could basically, because when you've got HS, you need something on in the background, because when you think it's silent, to somebody that has hypersensitivity to sound, everything becomes super loud. Everything. The wind outside can be fucking deafening. Trees rustling. You start to get paranoid and hear shit in the house, and it's like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, it might be a mouse, it might just be a fucking fly crawling on the wall. How does that be loud? It's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, I need something on in the background all the time. So I used to watch DVDs all the time. I used to have DVDs on in the background all the time. So I had like the complete collection of Buffy, Angel, Scrubs, Star Trek, and then Stargate, and a lot of different movies as well. And I just basically would just, when one finished, I put on the next one, push play, and then basically get on with whatever I was doing. So yeah. Okay, Roscoe. I'm not going to be on long anyway now. Anyway, so yeah, it really helps me. It helps my hearing focus on something else other than like my own voice or the fan. You might not be able to hear it, but the extractor fan is on. It's really hot in here. And it helps. It really does help, because otherwise silence is deafening. And in the middle of the countryside, in the middle of nowhere, I keep thinking I hear everything like moving, and there's creatures coming out to get me and stuff. So yeah, it's a thing. It's also why sometimes I end up falling asleep on the sofa instead of going to bed like I should, because I just I need to have something on in the background, and I don't want to wake Damon up. So basically, I try to make myself as tired as possible on the sofa by watching something up until the point where I think I'm falling asleep, and then I'll go to bed. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm doing that. So that's my week. That's basically been my week. And yeah. Well, if nobody else is watching me and basically nobody's voted for anything, I did upload the videos finally. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. I think I'm good. But yeah, I uploaded the videos, so you guys can watch those, especially if you're a Patreon or have my Patreon, or if you're on my Discord and I Patreon. That's good. Oh, Pornhub. That's what I meant to talk about. Pornhub owes me money. According to them, they owe me like $1,000, but they're not willing to pay me $1,000. But yeah, they used to pay me via PayPal a while ago, before PayPal shut them down for some reason. They closed a bunch of their accounts, and I never thought anything of it because they weren't really paying me anything, and I'm not in it for the money. So it was kind of one of those things of like, whatever. So they went to a couple of different places to basically get their payments to the models and people who are in it for the money. And the last time I checked, they were basically doing a thing with cryptocurrency, and it's like, okay. I'm not really into the whole cryptocurrency thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. For a lot of people I know basically say that it's a bit of a scam or something. So I was just like, and it didn't really bother me. But then I was on their website when I was uploading something, and they like had a big notification thing flash up, not as an ad or anything. This was a genuine notification. And it was like, you need to do this. And I was like, okay, fine. So I checked it out, and they can actually wire the money to me into my account. And that's great. However, it doesn't work. It basically needs your SWIFT code, SWIFT number, which in the UK is called a BIC code or something. And the problem is that this is a bank identification code, so that's why it's called a BIC code. And basically, so that they know what bank that they're dealing with when they're sending the money. They can't do my number because my BIC code, it just doesn't match, and I can't find anywhere where there's a solution to this. So they're still not paying me, but the notification's gone. So I'm not getting paid, but at least I'm not being bothered by it anymore. I honestly don't understand why PayPal isn't bothered by not having Pornhub as a customer. I don't get it. Anyway, Yeah, I think that's the last thing. I think this happened like yesterday, so yeah. But yeah, Roscoe's not here anymore. His package is on its way, meaning that I've yet to post it, but that's because I haven't been out anywhere yet. So I need to actually give it to a post box, or I need to arrange a time for a delivery person to come pick it up from my house. But once it's gone, it'll be on its way, and I'll let him know. And yeah, within a month, it should be there within a month, not within the month, within a month. So yeah, I don't know. The website said that it will probably be like a couple of weeks maybe or something. Although they did say that this is a premium tracking service, so essentially it might even be there within a couple of weeks, within a week. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out together. Anyway, yeah, since nobody's here, and since I'm out of things to talk about, and nobody's voted, I think I'm going to go. And I'll try again tomorrow. I will try again. I hope that I basically am awake and ready to stream when it's the regular streaming time that I normally do. Like I said, this is the tail end of the window for me, for my streaming window, because as we've just seen, Roscoe went to bed. Everybody's going to bed in the States. I am basically just everybody's asleep here now. So yeah, I mean, this will be the perfect time for people in like Australia, and Japan and stuff. But I don't think any of those people are watching. So yeah, which is a shame, because weirdly enough, I have a bunch of Australian friends. They just never watch my show. I mean, I'm not doing anything, so I get it. But I should poke them. I should basically poke them, saying, "Do you know I do a YouTube show? Do you know that?" But then that will probably annoy all of the European and American friends if I start streaming around about this time or later. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Toodles.